So we all heard the phrase at least once that goes something like, hey, following your dreams is cool, but it doesn't help paying the bills. And if you guys know me a little bit, you know that I don't agree with that narrative. And right now, I am making a bit of a living thanks to my music skills. And the reason why I reached that point is because in the beginning, when I told my friends and family, hey, I would love to make music for a living, and they answered me with that phrase, I didn't buy into that narrative. I didn't, you know, I saw a lot of people who were, you know, composers and did that for a job, and I was like, all right, so if people are doing it, it means that I can do it as well. So let me find out how. And I dropped my day job and my university to put myself in the position where the only way I could survive in the long term, in the long run, was to figure out how to make music and how to monetize it. Which is not something I recommend you to do, by the way. It's just something I did because I'm a psycho and because I don't agree with that narrative where you cannot do what you want in life. So I did discover many ways of doing that, and right now that's the reason why I'm making a living at music. Now today I want to talk about the ways I discovered to make a living at music. The thing is that as beginners we tend to not have the full overview of things. We tend to ignore a lot of stuff. So there are many ways in which people make a living at music that we do not know about. So I discovered those in these 4 years of adventure, and I'm gonna dispense some knowledge on you so you guys can get a bit of an overview on how you can do that. But the big trick that I discovered is that it's not that if you want to make a living at music you need to be famous or popular as Daft Punk or Hans Zimmer are. You can make a substantial living even by being, you know, not so much known. But the trick is to do many things at the same time with your music skills. So that's what I do. Let's start by the first thing that, like, I think it's the most impactful, which is for composers, trailer music. And you know, writing music for movies trailers and stuff, that's something I do. And it's something I discovered thanks to a friend who introduced me to this concept of trailer labels. Now, trailer labels are pretty much like labels, where, you know, you make music for them and they take care of the legal stuff and stuff like that. But differently of normal labels, trailer labels kinda like only focus on sending your music to a certain type of client. So not to random listeners, but to movie trailer editors, the guys who make the videos for the trailers and stuff. And when these guys pretty much pick your track and use it in a trailer and release a trailer, that gives you a huge payment, which is something like, on average, $1,000 to $5,000 for one single song. And you can even just get that song used for 10 seconds and you get that amount of money. Sometimes you get even more money or you get less, but we're talking about huge numbers. Why? Because the budget of such movies is insane, and you know, $5,000 for those movie studios is like nothing compared to what they spend. So you get a little percentage because they use your music. If you're not a composer and you're a band, there's the sync system where people maybe use your music in movies and stuff like that, or in TV series, and I think that too happens with labels, but I'm not sure about that because I'm not a band and I never had that experience, but I think there is the same concept with bands. Now, the way you get into trailer music, the entry barrier for trailer music is only one: skill. And well, we're talking about Hollywood right now, so you need to be a bit skilled, maybe less than you think, but you still need to have that degree of skill and to be able to write in that style for trailers, which is an art on its own. It's not like writing normal music or soundtrack music. Trailer music is a completely different thing. Now, if you're clueless about that, you're in luck, because my friend Christian Batschik released a course like last year, which has helped a lot of people transition into the career of being trailer musicians. And you can find the link to that course in the description of this video. It's the Evan course, trailer music or something like that, which I mention every day, every time I make videos, because it's great. So if you want to learn and have no idea where to go, that course is great. I also have a video where I talk about the trailer music structure, but once you have the skills to actually work with those companies, the way you get into those labels is you just find, you know, you Google for half an hour, you find all the labels possible, and you send an email to all those labels attaching like 2 or 3 of your best cinematic trailer tracks and tell them, hey, I would love to work for you guys. And if your music is good, they take you in. That's how it worked for me when I sent my email to Release Motion and stuff. Now, the way this works is that, you know, labels pretty much, they decide what type of music you're gonna make. It's not like you make whatever and they accept it. Labels have a plan. They have albums planned with certain categories, certain styles and thematics and stuff like that, right? Themes. So there might be the horror album, there might be the romantic or the epic orchestral, stuff like that. And pretty much when they decide which album to release and stuff, they decide to work on the album. They take all the composers that they think will fit in that album, and they send them a briefing telling them, hey, this is the album we're gonna work on this month, and you're gonna have to compose something like this using this they send you reference tracks that you're gonna have to sort of imitate, pretty much, and they give you advice and stuff like that. And you write the tracks and you send them to the label, and they give you supervision on what's working, what's not. And after a few, steps of editing, if the song is good, they're gonna accept it and they're gonna put it in the album. Now, I personally love labels, but there is one thing about labels that I do not like, is the degree of imitation which is involved in this kind of stuff. Because pretty much the trick of getting placements with trailer music is to write something which sounds awfully similar to whatever is out there, to whatever is being used right now, but that also sounds a bit new, so you have to imitate and use a little bit of originality into it. And personally, initially I was like, alright, that's cool, but after a few years, because I've been doing this for years, I felt like I was kind of stifled by this fact, because it didn't lead me to really express myself, to experiment so much, because I just had to imitate. And that wasn't so good for me. Now, depending on the type of person you are, that might not be a problem for you. Maybe you like that genre so much that you don't care. I personally didn't, so that's not, like, trailer music is something I do on the side. I don't do it every day. Although, the cool thing about trailer music is the people who work in it, because the supervisors from labels, the composers, your colleagues, pretty much, they're all fucking amazing people, really amazing people. I never met so many driven people in such a short amount of time. So that's the cool thing about the labels. And also the money they bring in is something you cannot simply ignore, because it's a crap load of money, and even just taking one placement, getting one placement can pay you for months, right? Because we're talking about $5,000, sometimes $8,000 and stuff like that, for 10 seconds of usage of one of your songs. So you can't make a living at music? Of course you can, there are ways. It's just that people do not know them. And this was only the first one. Now I'm gonna tell you about the other 4 ones that I discovered. We're in Shinjuku, Gyoen right now, which is like the Shinjuku National Park, which is huge and amazing and green and stuff. But what I like about Tokyo in general, or parks here, is that you can just walk alone and vlog without getting mugged. Well, if I did this in Milan, in the big park we have in Milan, well, I would have come home without my camera and without my 2 frontal teeth, because I would have get punched in the face and pretty much robbed of all my possessions. So in here that doesn't happen. So good job, Japan. This place is really amazing. But yeah, let's continue on the vlog. Now, the second way, and before I forget, the coolest thing about trailer music is that it can pay off even in the long run. You make your tracks and you post them there, like with the label, and even in 2 years a track can still keep producing results. Once you write those tracks, it's like passive income, and it's huge if you get those placements. So the second way that I wanted to talk about is called ad rev, and this kind of helps when you have maybe some songs on YouTube or SoundCloud, and people take those songs and they use them in their videos without permission, without asking you, and you have no ideas because you cannot find those videos, right? Ad rev solves that problem, and it makes it something valuable. Why? Now, ad rev is a service where you can upload your tracks, and what it does is that it scans YouTube consistently in all videos to search for the videos that use your music without permission. And pretty much what it does is that it takes those videos and it puts advertisements before such videos, so that people who check out those videos are gonna see the advertisements. And as you know, advertisements on YouTube pay, and the money that those advertisements make is sent to you by ad rev. Of course, I think they're taking a percentage as well, but it's worth it, because if like it happened to me, I don't have lots of music on YouTube, because my YouTube presence is mostly about tutorials and stuff. I do make trailer music and music for other services, so I don't have all the free time to make public music. Although I have one song on ad rev which has been used in a video that has like millions of views or something like that, right? So there's this song on ad rev of mine, one single song, which every 4 months generates something like $500 in advertisements thanks to ad rev. One single song. Imagine if I put out, I don't know, like 10 songs per month and I put them all on Adrev, how much of a substantial amount of money that would be. Now, for your music to be used in a video with 1 million views, of course you need to have a bit of popularity. So the entry barrier of Adrev is popularity, a little, and you know how good your music is. But I talked about how to get your music out there in the previous vlog, like last week or something. But anyway, once you have your tracks out there, you put them on Adrev, and Adrev pretty much collects all the money, and each 4 months it sends you all the money on PayPal. And again, this is a thing that happens without you doing anything. You just have to release your music, spread it, and upload it on Adrev. And it's, you know, the people are gonna use it, and you're gonna get the money automatically every so and so months. And it's something that lots of us can do already because they already have the music, but they haven't uploaded it on Adrev yet. So if you want to do that, the link to sign up to Adrev is in the description of this video or in the comments. I'm gonna put it somewhere. But yeah, that's another good method. And again, one single song, $500 per each month, like for each 4 months. And this song has been there for like 2 years, so you know, you do the math. It's generated a lot of money for me, pretty much like a trailer placement almost. And that song is not attached to any label, it's just a song I put out there for free. And that's the proof that spreading your music for free pays, you know. And you can even do an agreement with the people and tell them, hey, you can use my music for free if you want, but you're gonna get an Adrev on your videos, some advertisements as a payment. And that's it, you know. So a few friends of mine have been using it, some friends that publish way more music than me on YouTube, and they get like $2,000 or something each 4 months. So that added to the trailer music thing is already quite a substantial amount of money, right? But there are 3 more ways I want to talk to you about on how to make a living at music. And right now you're starting to understand and appreciate how wrong people are when they say, hey, yeah, following your dreams is cool, but they don't pay the bills. The third method is probably my favorite because it doesn't, along with Adrev, it doesn't have any requirements of, you know, imitating other people to get money. You can do whatever the hell you want in your own style and get paid exactly for that. And this method is called Patreon. Now, Patreon is a website or a service that many of us maybe heard about but never really truly understood what it is. And it's the most mind-blowing idea ever created in terms of, you know, helping creators make money. Now, Patreon is sort of like Kickstarter, where you say, hey, I have this project in mind, and you get backed up financially by people who might want to support that idea into creation and want to see that thing come alive. So they give you financial support by donating money. Now, in Kickstarter, they you know, the donators get rewards back, but it works only for one project, so it's only one donation. Patreon is sort of like the same thing, but it's endless, and every time you give rewards back to those people who donate to you. Now, you might say, hey, yeah, but people, they're not interested, blah blah. Yeah, go check out the Patreon page for Smooth McGroove and Leo Moracchioli, which are the 2 artists I mentioned in the other vlog the other day. Those guys, for every single song they put out on Patreon, they make something like $5,000 or even more. Imagine coming up with a song in your style, you know, or maybe even a cover, whatever the hell you want, and uploading that on YouTube and Patreon and getting $5,000 like that instantly. That's what Patreon is like. Now, I'm not saying that as soon as you sign up to Patreon, you're gonna make $5,000 for every single thing you release. You know, Smooth McGroove and Leo Moracchioli have a very tight fan base, and especially very broad fan base. They have like 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and the people who will donate to you on Patreon is pretty much like 10% of your YouTube subscribers, pretty much. The thing about Patreon is that first you need to have that tight fan base. You need to know your fan base, because you need to know what they want, what they would like to want as rewards, because rewards are a huge driver of Patreon donation. Like, people will donate for you, like to help you, but also for the rewards. And pretty much what I do personally is, I know my fan base is made of composers, right? And people who want to learn how to write music, right? So what I do on Patreon is I release stuff that can be useful for those kind of people. So song stems, MIDI, project files, templates and stuff, right? So if you donate to me on Patreon each month you get access to every single to all the song stems of every single song I released on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, go check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description of this video. And if you want to sign up to Patreon actually, which is something I recommend you to do if you have a bit of an audience, the link too is in the description of the video. And if you sign up with that link, which is my referral link, you're gonna get a bonus payment if you manage to accumulate a certain amount of patrons in that first month. So if you like sign up with my link and you accumulate, I don't know, 30 patrons, you get $50 from Patreon. So that's just a bonus you get if you sign up with my referral link and gather your community there. But yeah, if you want to use it, there's nothing wrong about crowdfunding. It's actually the way artists have been making a living in the Middle Age. They had patrons. Say you were a painter in the Middle Age, the way you made a living was to find a nobleman who liked your art and paid you to make more of that stuff. And maybe they told you, hey, I would love you to make a painting of my wife, and you will paint the wife and you get the money for painting the wife. That's what they call the patron. Now Patreon is bringing back that same thing, but you don't have a single patron. You have many people who want you to do more stuff in your style because they love you and they love your stuff, and that's pretty much it. And the cool thing is that you don't have to make special stuff for patrons. So I, like my YouTube songs, I still release them for free on YouTube. My tutorials are still free on YouTube. It's not like I'm taking away something from my YouTube subscribers, but I'm giving something more to my patrons. So the stems and the project files and the MIDI. So again, if you're interested, go check out my Patreon. And I do recommend you to open up a Patreon page right away, no matter how many fans you have. Although it's best if you accumulate fans before you start to expect your Patreon page to really blow up. And again, if you're clueless about how to accumulate fans, I talked about that in the previous vlog. So yeah, go check that one out if you haven't already. The fourth way is royalty-free music website. So with royalty-free, I mean music that people can buy and use in their videos or advertisements or whatever without having to pay substantial royalties whenever they use the music again, which is something that happens when you release music with labels and it gets used in television. They have to send you royalties every time they use it again and they air the same episode again. Now when people purchase royalty-free music instead, they pay a little amount, like 15 bucks or something like that, and they can use it whenever they want in that product. Now there are websites where you can upload your music, and pretty much it gets added to the marketplace of that website where people can purchase such music to use in their products for those prices. And now people get you know, pissed off, thinking, yeah, I'm never gonna sell my music for 15 bucks, that's too little, what the hell, there is no respect anymore for musicians. Yeah, well, I opened a royalty-free an account on Audio Jungle, not with my name, but I opened one, and I uploaded one song that I made like in 3 hours or something, in one afternoon, and I put it there. It was like super simple trailer music, but nothing too impressive, not so much produced, nicely produced. It was super simple. Put it there, and to this day it generated something like $2,500, something I wrote in 3 hours. And why is that? It's because despite the price of that song being something like 10 bucks, it sold so many times over that in the span of, you know, 2 years it generated like $2,000. And that's something you cannot simply ignore like that. You don't have to upload the best of your music there, and that's one mistake I did. Now Audio Jungle is like the McDonald's of music, where people who go there, they just need something fast. They don't need something very precise and like the best music around. They need something fast that works in the videos that they want to make, right? Mostly the audience on Audio Jungle is mostly YouTubers and stuff, so those are the kind of clients we're talking about. So you can take the bull by the horns by just writing simple music and maybe write in the categories which are popular on Audio Jungle, and that's pretty much how you get by on that website. Well, in the beginning in Audio Jungle, personally, I did the opposite. I did things that were too much original, that took like weeks to write, and they would sell like, oh, I don't know, 5 times. So that would have been like a waste of time, right? Instead, when I make tracks that I write fast, put them on Audio Jungle just for, you know, the fast food of music, they sell a lot. So, you know, that's one more avenue. Like, maybe sometimes for some cases it's enough to use Audio Jungle alone to make a living. In other cases it might just provide you, I don't know, 200 bucks per month extra. but if you add it to all the other things, you know, you start to create a substantial income. Now, if you know me, you know, I love to write crazy things. I love to be unconventional and stuff like that. So audio jungle is not my best place, because of course it's conventional as hell, and you have to imitate and stuff. So I don't use it a lot, but again, depending on the person you are, depending on the genre you like, audio jungle might be the thing for you. But despite that, I would still recommend you to give it a shot, and sometimes to upload a few tracks just to gain some extra money. And with that money you can buy sample libraries, you can travel and meet people, clients and stuff like that. So that's sort of an investment of time that can get you back something of value if you're smart. So I'm not using audio jungle a lot now, but I surely used it a lot in the past, and it surely helped a lot. Also, if you want to subscribe, it's free, of course, and again, the link is in the description of this video, along with all the other links of all the other resources I mentioned. But yeah, I want to talk now about the fifth method, which is the final, which is my favorite. Of course, you know, I'm sort of a teacher now with the YouTube thing, and I do private lessons, and I do feedback service when you can send your music for 15 bucks. I do a video review of your track and tell you exactly what needs to be improved and how. So I provide those types of teaching services, right? And this ties into the fifth way in which I personally make a living at music, in which you can do it as well, which is offer services to other musicians. Now, services are not only teaching. Of course, you can teach, which is great, but you can also be like, you can also use your talents as session musician. If you're, you know, a girl who sings pretty well, or even a guy, if you're a vocalist that sings pretty well, you can be a session vocalist and sing on other people's songs, and you know, you get paid. You can ask for payment instantly, like $500 I sing on your song, and then I also get a bit of a share in the rights. So if the song gets synced or in trailers or movies and stuff, you get part of that payment. Or you can be a session guitarist for, you know, live bands, or even songs, again, because sometimes composers and stuff like that, maybe they're not so great at guitar, but they want a solo guitar on their songs. Well, you might get engaged for that, and you might, you know, offer that service. Now, another thing you can do is, maybe if you're good at mixing and mastering and music production, you can produce bands. Now, bands, when they write music, they do not know how to record it, right? So it's sort of like you can offer that service where you take their music and you mix it, you master it, and you produce it. You give them advice and guidance on how to make it sound great. So you can do that. You can be a producer for bands. Another thing you can do is being an orchestrator for bands. Sometimes rock bands and stuff, or metal bands, they need intros for their albums, which are epic orchestral, but they have no idea how to write that, right? So they get in touch with composers. Or maybe they might want, you know, a background, orchestral background in one of their songs, and again, they do not know how to do that. And you, as a composer, that's the part where you come in. So you see, we musicians can help each other, and when you do, you can ask for payment, of course, and rights as well, which is gonna give you, more money in the long run. Now, the entry barrier for this is of course social proof, because, you know, if you're famous right now, I have this YouTube channel where I have like, I'm not saying I'm famous, but I'm saying like I have like 11,000 subscribers, and my videos get sometimes 50,000 or something, and you can expect that in those 50,000 views there's gonna be maybe an interested client, and he sees, oh, this guy knows his shit, like he has a lot of people who follow him, and he knows what he's talking about, and he writes good music, and he's popular. They're gonna be like, all right, I want to work with this guy because he's legit. That's social proof, right? So social proof is really important because of that, because it gives, like, it shows people that you're the real deal. And if you have that, they're not gonna be able to tell you, hey, yeah, you can work for free for us and we're gonna give you exposure, because you already have the exposure. You're already a big shot, so they cannot shit on you like that. You can ask for decent prices because you do not need exposure and stuff like that. So social proof is what first attracts those clients, and second, what allows you to ask for a decent amount of money. If you are great but do not have that social proof, well, you can still get paid quite a lot, but you need to find honest clients, and that's I mean, depending on where you live, it might be easy or difficult. In Italy it's pretty much impossible, but on the internet maybe it's possible. Although if you have the social proof, it's better. So I suggest you to, as I mentioned in the vlog that I mentioned already 3 times in this video, the one where I told about how to get your music out there, I suggest you to follow those steps and really get your audience built up, so that you start to get that social proof and people start to notice you, and you can start, you know, being contacted daily by people sending you emails asking you, hey, would you like to collab, and you can start asking for substantial amounts of money. So that's another thing I do. And maybe you can even, I don't know, if you're great, you can even just write courses. It's not necessarily like, hey, I make music and I'm gonna perform live and that's all my income. No, as you heard in this video, there are many ways of making a living at music. And the goal, or the secret, is to fuse together as many as possible based on your skill and what you can do and what you can offer. So those are the ways in which you can make a living at music, and I'm sure there are many more. This has just been my experience, but I'm sure that if I believed that narrative, or yeah, you cannot make money with music, I would have never gotten so maniacal about this, to the point that I discovered these 5 things. And that's why it's important, in my opinion, to take your dreams seriously. Now, I'm not saying that you should drop your day job or you should drop university like I did. Again, I did so because I'm a psycho. You shouldn't follow in my footstep in this. Like, I was in my own particular position, but I'm saying that you should take your dreams seriously if you want to achieve them, because that's the only perspective in which you can realize shit with music and stuff, right? If you don't take those things seriously, you're not gonna be like looking for these strategies actively, and if you find them in front of you, you're gonna ignore them, because there's that layer of belief in front of your eyes that says this is impossible, you cannot do this. Ignore the thing. So try to take the thing seriously, and people who tell you you cannot make it, screw them, right? Don't take in what they're telling you, because the only reason why I'm here in Tokyo shooting this vlog is because I never listened to the people who didn't believe in me. So I suggest you to do the same and take yourself and your dreams seriously. By the way, I'm doing these vlogs, of course, for you, to help you guys and stuff, because as you might have noticed, I'm really passionate about helping people out and inspiring other people to do what I'm doing right now. So if you have some friends that will gain some help from this video, maybe share it with them. Share it on your Facebook page, on Facebook groups, but do not spam it around where it doesn't belong. And also, if you want to help me and want to see more locations here in Tokyo, give me maybe some ideas on things that I could vlog about next, because I have a list of places I want you guys to see, like this Shinjuku Gyoen, but the ideas on what I could vlog, the questions that I can answer and stuff like that, I have some ideas in mind. But if you guys ask me some stuff, maybe I can get some new ideas on what to vlog, so I can show you more places and talk more to the camera, which is starting to feel like a very entertaining habit, although it attracts some kind of strange looks from people. Anyway, this will be all for today, and this is Shinjuku Gyoen for you.